Here they come! To arms!
Hold the line at all costs.
Well fought, Chiron. You came at the right time.
That was probably just an advance party.
Yeah, you're right. But we can't get the damn gate closed.
What's wrong with it? Don't tell me the lever for the portcullis you broke.
No, it's stuck. The gear's broken.
Where can I find a new one?
Down the street there's an outpost, but it's probably already overrun. The bandits came from that direction. I can't leave my position.
I can deal with it. Hang on until I get back.
Well, hurry. The storm may break at any time. We can't hold the gate any longer! Pull back!
We won! Welcome to the City Guard, my friend. Welcome to the ranks of Warrank's citizens.
Thanks, Sergeant.
Damn, that was a good fight. And we even caught the ringleaders.
Ringleaders? You mean you've caught Perel?
Ha! He won't get his hands dirty, but his henchmen will do us fine. They've already talked. Once they're hanging from the walls, no one will dare attack the guards again.
You want to hang them?
They knew what to expect. Anyone who kills my men will pay for it.
Has the ringleader's testimony brought anything?
They knew nothing about the executioner's swords stolen from the Rondrians, and nothing about the missing amber either. But no matter, they told me a lot about Perel.
Did the prisoners say anything about Falk?
No, for once he had naught to do with it, but I think your information is sufficient to make Metropolitan Yakon at least suspicious.
Could you arrange for a meeting with Yakon when he returns?
I think so. Dinna fash yourself.
If you execute the prisoners, the Kreutzer cartel won't make peace for a long time.
It won't anyway. Too much blood has been shed. But the cartel has been weakened. They won't be causing trouble again soon. People can once again sleep in peace. And the honest traders in Warrank now have less competition from the smugglers. That's good for their prices.
How did you manage to convince the Margrave to award me citizenship so quickly?
He knows he can count on me. If I trust a man, so does he. Citizenship applies to you and your entire clan.
Thank you.
Don't mention it. I'm happy to do what I can for my people. Oh, by the way, give your father my greetings. I think I know now why you seem so familiar to me.
Are you sure you want to execute these people? They have families.
That's the law. Criminals are to be executed. We can't allow some few to steal supplies belonging to everybody. And didn't tell me that we would be besmirching our victory, or that the poor would thank us. What is important is that decent people can live in safety.
Sergeant, you already have a guilty conscience, and you haven't even decided yet.
Not true. I don't care about their families. They must be punished.
Sergeant, you are lying to yourself.
Well, lad, if you're such an expert, then you're to decide whether we should execute them.
Let them live. There's really been enough bloodshed.
For all I care, let them live, but they must be punished. Every one of them loses his right hand. We'll meet again at the headquarters. There's something to celebrate. Your admittance to the city guard of Warunk.
The ringleaders' lives were spared, and the city of Warunk sentenced each of them to 12 moons' hard labor on the construction sites. The poor remained hungry, but there was no more doubt about the fair and just distribution of supplies. The law was enforced, yet humanely. The weakening of the Kreutzer cartel meant fewer goods now arrived in the slums. The Rondrians and prosperous Warunkins complained that the problem had not been fully rooted out. Margrave, however, praised Charon's mercy and displayed his own goodwill.
Interested in a... Ah!
People of Warunk, fear the
Back
demons.
again? So tell me, how many
Renounce
monsters have you
their
killed with my steel
temptations
so
and
far?
defy their servants. True salvation comes solely from thundering Rondra and her 11 divine siblings. They, and they alone, lifted the heavy yoke of the necromancers from your shoulders.
What? Today you've shown that you stand for law and order. You've also figured out which end of your sword to hold on to. I want you to be one of us. One of the guards.
As long as I don't have to wear fruit on my chest, I'm in.
It was done. His actions at the armory had secured Chiron and his family a place within the protection of Warunk's walls. Falk of Arivor would have to find another bride. Yet Chiron had no time to rejoice, for panic suddenly erupted in the streets of Warunk. In the western city, hordes of undead rose to attack the refugees. Chiron lost no time, for his family was in danger. He hurried to the refugee camp.
Undead and demonic magic. Hang on, Calandra. Calandra, Father, are you all right?
We're doing fine, Chiron.
This hut won't take this for long. With you here, we can try and break out.
What the hell's happened?
The attack came suddenly. We were lucky that we rescued the others.
Lucky is an understatement. Right now, they're shredding everything alive out there. The undead are coming from all directions.
Then there must be several sources, summoning circles, necromancers' work.
We need to head for the Prios Temple. It's easiest to defend.
Consecrated ground. If we're lucky, the Sun God's blessing will stop the undead. Let's go.
Alone? And what about the people here? They're refugees too, just like us.
We no longer belong to these people.
What do you mean?
We have our citizenship. We can enter the city.
I don't have to marry him?
This is not the time. Let's go.
And just where exactly is Folk? Aren't Daeons supposed to deal with the undead?
Stop it, Chiron. We don't know where they're fighting the undead here in the camp.
Right, we don't know. All we know is that I didn't see a single Rondrian on the way here. Not one!
Right. We don't even know if the Prior's temple is even still consecrated.
Stop it, both of you! At least the temple is easy to defend.
Let's just go. Seems the Rondrians weren't all that thorough when they liberated Warunk.
That's not getting us any further here, Chiron.
I heard from the refugees they saw a number of summoning circles on the way here.
Then there are probably several necromancers.
Those summoning circles must be destroyed, otherwise the attacks will continue.
They'll have enough reinforcements with the amount of dead lying here. If those summoning circles really are the source of the undead, that would definitely be an advantage for us.
It would mean that the undead aren't just appearing on their own, but that someone's calling them. You can't summon undead, demons, or even elementals without summoning circles.
Let us hope that the necromancers didn't forget their protective circles. Otherwise, where's the challenge?
Quit showing off, as if protective circles would affect you. It's not like you're from the Netherhells, Chiron.
Maybe not. But maybe these necromancers can tell. The undead could attack at any moment. We have to go.
I will not leave these people here.
You really are out to make us the patron saints of this camp, aren't you?
I have no idea what you're talking about, Chiron.
Chiron, go ahead. You hack your way through the worst of it, and we'll follow with the refugees.
From one summoning circle to the next, if I catch a necromancer, I destroy his circle and you follow. It's the tougher path, but there's less danger if we meet them head-on than in having them follow us.
Let's go. What have you found?
A severed hand. Leftovers from the storming of the armory.
Severed body parts as a sacrifice for the invocation of a demon.
The only one who really comes into question is Thalgunitoth, archdemon of the undead.
The Dark Mother.
Stop it, both of you. Anyone naming names is playing with their soul.
As if that ever stopped you, Father.
This is something else, Calandra. You don't understand.
Don't think for a minute that you can keep fobbing me off with that old line.
All right, let's keep moving. We still haven't caught all the necromancers.
Get away from my daughter, you monster!
You found something?
A piece of amber. The sacred stone of the sun god Prios. One exactly like the one that was stolen recently. No charges were ever laid because the victim was afraid.
You've really been having a good look around Warren, haven't you?
Black-Araz. Definitely the Lord of Vengeance. He's the only one anyone would offer up a piece of amber to in order to facilitate the invocation.
You mean the sun god, Prius' nemesis? What would he have to do with summoning undead?
Maybe that explains why they were able to attack during the day without turning to dust.
The light-shunning rabble.
Don't be silly. This just doesn't fit. We'll need to find the mastermind if we want to know more. If Black-Araz is involved, someone is out for revenge. But when he starts summoning undead at the same time, he's out to divert attention from something else. Something bigger.
Oh, then it has to be a Borberadian, Father. With them, nothing is ever the way it seems.
Find that funny, do you? You find that funny, you silly fool?
Come, Father, calm down. We need to get going. Now, if we find him and he really is a Borberadian, you can have the finishing blow.
You are fools, children. Happy fools.
Another barricade. At least one summoner must still be alive.
What the hell's happened here?
One less necromancer. One more demonic sacrifice. An executioner's sword with a lioness coat of arms on it. Exactly the same kind of weapon just stolen from the Rondrians.
A Rondrian weapon as an offering in an undead summoning? That's strange. The war goddess's demonic opponents have nothing to do with revenants.
Right. That summoning must have been directed at some other demon than the archdemon Thargunitoth. The undead have been called independently of this summoning. Besides Rondra's nemesis Belhalha, I'd say Black-Araz, the Lord of Vengeance, would probably be a good guess. Executioner swords are often sacrificed to him.
How come you know so much about demons?
You picked these things up over the years. Chiron, weren't you in a hurry? There's still a good way to the Prios Temple.
Falk! Who would ever thought to see you here?
Sharp-tongued as ever. At least there's one way to distinguish you from the undead.
Falk, are you here to help?
The zombies didn't rise up on their own. Someone called them. We followed that man here. The leader of the necromancers has fled to the Prios temple. He is trapped.
The house of the sun god has been desecrated.
The god of princes will not protect the lowliest. At least we know that now.
And we know where his soul will go when we've finished with it.
I know what you want to say, Chiron. You want to give me the honor of defeating the villain. But no. You were very brave. In Rondra's name, I'll let you go first.
Suddenly worried about getting your fingers dirty?
No, dear Kyra. For once in your life, you too should have the chance to prove your worth. Maybe some rich citizen's daughter will hear of your courage. A cleverly arranged marriage with a little tart like that, and you could gain citizenship.
You...
Chiron! Please.
I'm going in.
Chiron, I have been expecting you.
How do you know my name?
You won't need a name where you're going. Get ready to face the Dark Mother.
The villain's escape left many questions unanswered. Who summoned them? What did he want to achieve? Why did Falk, a senior Rondrian, allow Chiron to face the summoner? Instead of replying, Falk ordered the Rondrians to seal off the refugee camp and comb it in search of the summoner there, using whatever means necessary. He quartered his bride Calandra and her family in the Old Pillory, the best guest house on the square. At least now, with the approaching wedding, his thoughts seemed to focus on Calandra's welfare. At least, that was the impression he gave. Stop eavesdropping, Chiron. What is said in the next room is none of your business.
Falk is talking to his mother, probably planning his next crime, the bastard.
Enough! We all realize that you can't stand them.
Not even you like those two, Father. We could see the way you stared at Falk's mother.
You had better get used to them.
I'm not going to do it, Father. We have citizenship. We no longer need them.
You will marry Falk, and you will move with him when his church transfers him.
I go where I want, and I'll marry the man I love.
Bite your tongue, Calandra. You don't even know what you're saying.
Never, ever talk to us like that again. Otherwise you will find yourself sitting there all alone in the morning with your damn citizenship.
You're a stubborn, rebellious idiot, Chiron. Stop inciting your sister like that.
Father, I love Chiron.
You don't know what you're saying.
And I love her.
Children, You're running to your doom.
I hope I'm not interrupting anything. I thought that maybe little Calandra would give me some advice on how we can make the wedding particularly tasteful. The old Rondra Temple is such an austere, dreary building, and it would be a shame if our tastes were all too different.
Certainly. She will come with you.
Father!
My dear Chiron, it is really touching to see how much you worry about your little sister. But I think she should decide for herself, don't you, Liana?
I will come.
Excellent, excellent. We will host a celebration such as Warwick has never seen. Come along. And it goes without saying that the anxious brother can join us later at the temple. Fare you well, gentlemen.
Calandra didn't go with Folk's mother voluntarily. She's been controlled.
That was a Be My Friend spell. A harmless elven spell. Probably Folk's mother tried to defuse the situation.
And it's Be My Friend's very harmlessness that makes it so suspicious. She must have a very, very good knowledge of that spell to calm down someone as angry as Calandra. Did you notice her pointed ears? If she is an elf, how can she be Folk's mother? He's no half-elf.
Maybe she's only his foster mother. That happens more often than you'd think.
You just don't want to understand. Folk is a pimp, a traitor, and probably worse. I got us our citizenship. Why this insistence on the wedding?
Your siblings, Chiron.
But why Folk, of all people?
I won't tell you. I wish you could simply trust me.
While Folk prepares for his wedding, the Rondrians are combing the refugee camp.
They're looking for the necromancer. If he has teleported himself away, he could be anywhere.
That was a transversalis spell. Unusual for a necromancer. You were right. Those undead really were just summoned as a distraction from something bigger. From whatever the invocation of Blackaraz was supposed to do.
But what could be bigger than hordes of undead assaulting the west town?
At any rate, it's passing strange that Folk is concentrating all of the Rondrian forces on the refugee camp. Almost as if he wanted to keep them away from somewhere else.
Despite everything, Folk is a Rondrian. What would he have to do with the Archdemon of Revenge?
I don't know, but it's strange that the Necromancer knew my name. The old Rondra Temple is a strange choice for Calandra's wedding. The Warunkians say the place was a Necromancer whorehouse.
Folk wants to use the gesture. Today's good defeats yesterday's evil. The Warunkians will love him for it. Metropolitan Yarkon won't appreciate that. It undermines his authority. But he's not in Warunk. That way, Folk can demand obedience from all of the Rondrians, even the ones who are less forgiving.
I'm going to the Rondra Temple. I'm not leaving Calandra alone with that woman. At least one of us has to stand by her.
Has decreed, whosoever passes or communicates with demons shall burn. Whoever wears
Angros,
their
smile on you, lad.
or
I was looking
speaks
for
their
you.
language
Did something
will
happen?
lose their
The
sight.
cartel attacked us
Whoever
again.
protects
Ever
their
since they got their
servants
hands on that
or their
heretic, they've
works,
been getting
or
bolder.
conceals
Oh,
such from the
that
Dions
kicked a right
shall be
large
hanged
rock
by
rolling.
the neck
No, I'm
until
going around
dead.
warning my people.
Dead.
It's quite possible that
Dead.
you're next on Perel's
Blessed
wee
be
list.
Rondra,
We've given the
divine
cartel enough
lioness.
cause for revenge.
Why is the cartel willing to take such a risk for that mage?
Perel really goes for all that mystic mage claptrap. Word is he considers Fyodor some kind of soul brother. Ah,
You really think having Theodore in your power would make a difference? You didn't want to use his knowledge anyway.
But we could have, the way Perel can now. Sure, I didn't treat Theodore like a guest, but he is a heretic when all's said and done. People cannot just do and say what they want. Everyone is responsible for their own actions.
Really?
By Angrosh's beard, aye, that's the way of it!
Have you heard about the desecration of the Prior's temple?
Yes, and I heard that you done well, lad. Too bad the Rondrians have taken over the case.
It was very strange. There were signs pointing to the Lord of Vengeance everywhere. Maybe this whole attack was just a diversion.
Sounds like the cartel. They're capable of anything.
Why would the cartel willfully desecrate a temple?
Whoever catches the villain, well, the Warunkians will celebrate him or her. And that could be useful to Perel when the balance of power shifts again.
You mean when officers are awarded again?
Pretty smart, old Perel. Forges himself a dragon, sinks it in Batangar, and then he goes off to Xorlosh as the great dragon slayer.
What?
I mean that Perel wants to swindle his way to fame, that's all, lad.
And what if it's not Perel who's behind the Necromancer, but Folk of Aravor?
Well, if he manages to capture the Necromancer, the Warunkians will celebrate him as a hero.
And he's probably got an eye on Yarkon's position as head of the Rondrians.
Slow down, lad. Metropolitans aren't made overnight. You'll have to kill Yarkon in a duel for that. And he'd be needing a real good reason for a duel like that, lad. Otherwise, he'd have half the Church of Rondra stomping through his tunnel come morning. Outside his door, I mean. With swords, you know, lad?
But many Warunkians would take his side. He could command the Rondrians here, and the city walls would protect him.
At the moment, they're combing the western city. Maybe they'll even find him. But if not, we'll find him. We can do what we want now that the Rondrians are gone.
I'm gonna head over to the old Rondra temple. I want to pick up my sister there.
Fine, lad. Take care of yourself.
The Metropolitan announced the city walls have been completely...
Now my brother's in jail, just because the bloody guards wanted to have someone guilty to. I hear that the dead have risen to eat the flesh of the living, the refugee camp.
You hit her.
My wife will be silent when I demand it.
That's enough!
Chiron, drop it.
That's right, my love. It would be a shame if my dear brother-in-law were forced to watch our wedding from the scaffold.
Man to man, Chiron will chop you into bloody little pieces.
It will be my pleasure. When the time is ripe. Men, march!
Didn't you defend yourself?
It's not as bad as it looks. His mother jumped in between us before it got ugly.
What did you do in the temple?
Wedding preparations in the temple, and some kind of test on me.
On you?
Chiron, There are more important things at the moment. Please listen to me. Fulks' mother seems to like me. A lot. I was able to ask her a great many questions, and she talked like a disciple of Nandus. Fulks struck me to stop me from asking questions. She already knows much too much, he said. And he was right.
This test, it had something to do with our magic powers?
Fulks' mother knows something about them, I'm sure. My gift was the reason for the test. When our blood mingled, it seemed to have awoken something.
Well, this just can't be true. Father warns us for years not to mix our blood, but never tells us why. Then some masked elf comes along, and all of a sudden you somehow have to marry the man who pretends to be her son. And when our blood accidentally does mix, awakening some sort of magical powers in us, then guess which same elf has an answer?
An answer she hasn't given me. Just a lot of solemn talk about the power of blood and pain. And that right after Fulk beat me bloody. Very appropriate.
I'm gonna talk to Father. He has to stop lying to us.
As long as you don't beat him to a pulp, too.
What did Fulk's mother check you for?
I think it was some kind of magic test. She wasn't much interested in my virginity at any rate.
Not much?
In the end, she said it had already begun.
And then?
Nothing more. She just smiled and talked quite excitedly about the wedding. And about freedom, power, and ecstasy. Fulk stood next to her drooling. It was disgusting.
That woman is really strange. Did you see her pointy ears?
I don't think that she's his mother, rather something like his master. And right now she's none too happy with her student. She called him a failure.
Because it's unworthy of a Rondrian to lose patience?
No, he must have made some mistake first. I'm not sure, but it sounded as if he endangered some kind of cover-up. After he hit me, she hissed at him. "Fool! Now it has begun anyway," she said.
Maybe it has something to do with the refugee camp, the necromancer's escape, or the fact that I defeated him.
Or our magic gifts. I don't know.
Calandra, let's get out of here. Father has his citizenship, so he'll be fine. There is no reason to marry that pig anymore.
There are 3 reasons why I should stay here and pretend like I'm actually going to marry Fulk. Firstly, that necromancer is still running around free. He killed off half the refugee camp, and, if I understood you properly earlier, all the signs point to my groom. Secondly, Fulk's mother is the only one who can tell us anything about these strange magical gifts. I just can't believe that Father would break his silence after all these years.
And thirdly?
Thirdly, I know now that you love me, more than a man loves his sister. Even if these people kidnapped me and locked me up somewhere in the mountains, I know you would come to my rescue. So we need not fear.
I won't stand around here and wait until the wedding begins. I want to kill that invocator.
Wait, I found out something else that might help you. Fulks' mother talked a lot about the god Nandus' sons, Demon Master Borborad and Rohal the Wise.
Heresy in the old Rondra temple? Unbelievable to think that the Rondrians would tolerate such a thing.
Except for Fulk, there weren't any of them in the area when she talked about it. She mentioned a Council of the Dead, Borborad's Council of the Dead. It's supposed to be here in Moloch Mountain.
Father once spoke of it. We were very young, he had been drinking and was cursing the Borboradians. Upon his return from the grave, the Demon Master summoned the souls of the greatest scholars from Boron's underworld. He banished them into 3 troll skulls, which had to answer all of Borborad's questions. Whenever they refused, they were plunged into terrible agonies.
I remember. Father said that the skulls only answer Borborad himself, him or his official successor.
Borborad appointed a successor?
If he wanted to ensure that his church would continue to exist after his death, he would have to.
Maybe there isn't an official successor. Then the skulls would have to answer everyone.
Or no one. It would be worth a try. If I understood Fulks' mother correctly, the Council of the Dead is somewhere in Moloch Mountain. This could be our chance. If the Council of the Dead knows the answer to everything, you could ask it anything. About the undead, the necromancer, maybe the Council even knows what other lies our father told us.
Even if this council really exists, the ghosts are scholars, not clairvoyant. How are they supposed to know about us?
Do you have a better idea as to who could help us? Father lies. Fulk lashes out at those around him, and his mother certainly isn't going to tell me anything more.
I've just met a very sage magus.
And where is your all-knowing magus?
In a deep dungeon, surrounded by enemies.
Then it's certainly wiser to get our hands on this great magus than to explore a demigod's deepest secrets.
You know, maybe I'll just do that.
Go ahead. Your decision. But it would be just plain stupid.
So, just plain stupid.
Let's say, a little stubborn?
Talk to Borbered's Council of the Dead and expect an answer. I mean, that just sounds too out of this world.
But it's so nice that you're doing it anyway. Good luck, my hero.
Dash it, those Rondrians. Finally someone's cracking down around here.
cannibal's still alive, but his prisoners as well.
Where are you going?
I'm Chiron, and I am here to consult with you.
You are not the Master. He did not know you. You have never seen him. Council will reply only to the Demon Master.
And yet you still talk to me.
He told the truth. We had to answer him. And we will have to answer him again. Stranger, what gives you this power?
I would answer you, but this power is a mystery to me.
Council is equal to you in its lack of knowledge. If he has not yet found out what has made him what he is. If the Council were to answer only who declares his intent, then shall the three questions of the Master attest the truth. Therefore, bethink you, stranger, and inform the council should you be disposed to face the Master's questions.
Ask the Master's questions. I'm ready.
Speak the Master's name. Forsooth of a surety, that is his name. Hear now the second question.
What was the Master's eternal contradiction?
The ideal of freedom that should apply to everyone. If one is truly free, others must obey him.
In truth, that is his greatest contradiction. Now the third and final question.
Who shall speak for the Master in future?
I will do so, for I am his lawful successor. It is proof enough that the council talks to me.
The answer was not entirely correct.
But the future shall prove him right.
Ask your questions, stranger. The council has found you worthy.
Who is Calandra? What are Falk and his mother going to do to her?
Once she was to share your fate, but the man who kidnapped her made freedom compulsory for you all.
Master's handmaid will take her into the harshest darkness. She plans the best of all deaths for Calandra or you. But this death is yet far off.
But this is inviolable. Calandra loves you without let or doubt.
Who is my real father?
Was one of three. Then he wanted to be one of two. He followed the Master's handmaid, but her greatest favor made her his enemy. He did not want to follow the Seven.
Now you are again three others, three newcomers who make the rest of the Seven tremble. Speak with him. He truly wishes to be your father.
He will not know everything, but he will know. And one day he will again meet the Master's handmaid. Then shall the true father stand with him.
What is my magical gift?
Long remained undiscovered that which was buried deep. Blood alone opened the gate built by the Master's handmaid, which does ripen the Seven scattered across the land.
Gift will give you that which it takes from others. From the Seven grows the Paladin. In the end, the greatest sacrifice will stand.
Yet today, your gift gives you power. Your blade's aura kills those who come from outside, those so terribly similar to you.
How do I find the necromancer from the Prios Temple? Whom did he serve?
He served a master different from the one he wished the world to believe. The man who once raided you had to be wrong to be right.
The Drover of the Dead will summon a greater servant. The Lord of Vengeance will send him the most evil of his servants. This will come to pass because the false hero will command Black Haraz's servant.
3 old friends, sharpen their blades, reconcile them, and you shall triumph, albeit without glory. The heretic knows the answer.
What can you tell me about Folk of Aravor?
Bathed in splendor did he rise, but he fought only to his own advantage. He was that which the Master's handmaid had intended, the most loyal of her sons.
He is your opposite in everything. He wants to take that which is yours as well. He is your brother, but only on the 7th part.
The Master's handmaid and he shall enslave you. You will experience great suffering. But should you defeat him, you shall have taken the first step on the path to your destiny.
I've heard enough.
Oh, now, stranger, the heretic will show you that which you seek. Your loved ones to bear your path unto him.
Those snots in the uptown don't care whether we eat dirt down here or die in our own shit.
And? Did you find the Council of the Dead?
Yes, I found it.
But it didn't talk to you.
It was all very puzzling. The only thing that was really clear was that my loved ones are supposed to help me. And that heretic.
So, go ahead. Ask me something. Maybe I qualify as a heretic too.
I agree. See you later.
Dash it, those Rondrians. Finally someone's cracking down around here.
Yesterday, the cartel went out on another foray.
The Metropolitan has decreed. People of Warung, be reminded that every death must be...
It's good that you're here. I have to apologize to you. I was stupid. I should have believed you.
We both needed some time to think.
That's generous of you, but an apology is not enough. I searched the room next door.
You broke into Volk's mother's room?
I wanted to be sure that the wedding isn't a mistake. I should have become suspicious much earlier. But for some reason, I believed that woman instead of the two of you.
She put a spell on you.
Possibly. But when I discovered the intricate little dwarven lock on her chest, I suspected she had something to hide. But the poison trap was the final proof. It almost got me.
And? Was it worth it?
I think so. I found a piece of parchment in the chest covered with magic symbols in a secret language I've never seen before, but I can't read it.
I may know someone who can. A heretical mage half the city is fighting over. The only problem is the Perel Notgelf from the Kreutzer cartel is holding him prisoner, and I'm allied with Sergeant Fergalosh of the City Guard.
Perel and Fergalosh? They were always squabbling about something.
You know them? Where from?
That was long before you were born, Chiron. Back in my mercenary days, during the Maraskan campaign.
Tell me more.
Perel Nodgelf, Fergalosh son of Farragonai, the Clover.
The Clover?
A 3-man mercenary unit. We went through a lot. It wasn't always easy.
You're not together anymore. Was there a traitor?
Let's say it was about a woman. Enough said.
All right. So how can we take advantage of this?
We swore an oath that we would always assist one another in an emergency. Gods know a lot has happened since then, but the oath was to the death. Try to get in to see Perel. When you stand before him, recite the oath of the Clover. And do 7 winds contrary run. And death surrounds, from battle spun, shall these 3 swords still stand as one.
Calandra didn't go with Folk's mother voluntarily. She's been controlled.
That was a Be My Friend spell. A harmless elven spell. Probably Folk's mother tried to defuse the situation.
Did you notice her pointed ears? If she is an elf, how can she be Folk's mother? He's no half-elf.
Maybe she's only his foster mother. That happens more often than you'd think.
How do I get through to see the heretic?
We swore an oath that we would always assist one another in an emergency. Gods know a lot has happened since then, but the oath was to the death. Try to get in to see Perel. When you stand before him, recite the Oath of the Clover. And do 7 winds contrary run, and death surrounds. From battle spun, shall these 3 swords still stand as one.
I'm going to talk to the heretic.
Those assholes in the guard slaughtered everyone who wanted to get the food from the armory and spread it around.
Those
Better to keep your head down. Here, you can have a knife across your throat faster than you can say for feck's sake.
A drift Hi there, sweetie.
What are you looking for round here? Punch in the head?
What in the name of all the archdemons is your pug-ugly face doing around here?
I must speak with Theodore.
You kiss Fergalosh's arse, kill my men, and now you want me to let you talk to the heretic?
Oh, do not worry. I'm not going to take him away from you. I just have to ask him a few questions.
Give me just one reason not to set a horde of insane Belhal Harpacteras on you.
The Oath of Clover. And when 7 winds do contrary run, and death surrounds from battle spun, shall these 3 swords stand all for one?
Something like that, close enough to recognize the goodwill.
Is it enough to get the Kreutzer Cartel's help?
It's not that simple. Your worthy father still owed old Perel something when he took his leave.
You were mercenaries. If this is really about my father's old debts, you're certain to have listed and secured them by contract according to the Code of Concom.
Good, let's cut the crap. Money is not the issue here. Even if I am quits with your father, you killed my dear neighbours and disrupted my business.
After everything that happened at the armory, why did the cartel have to provoke the sergeant again?
Fergalosh doesn't give a damn about the people in Wurunk. The Rondrians are the ones looking for the necromancer, not the guards. He thinks he could be faster than Falk and grab the glory. The great Fergalosh who first defends the arsenal and then catches the necromancer too.
And what if Falk of Aravor is behind it all? The matter in the brothel showed us that he works with necromancers. The attack on the Western City was a red herring. What if Falk wants to use the trick you're accusing Fergalosh of? He stages an attack, then presents the people with a villain caught personally, while Yarkon's people were looking in the wrong place.
A good plan. Could almost be one of mine.
Listen to me, Perel. If you do not want more of your neighbors to die, you should let me talk to Theodore.
I hate to be threatened, but I'm not a fool. Today you win. We shall visit the great Theodore and have a little chat. Let me take the chance to have you pass my warmest greetings on to your worthy father, and a speedy recovery for his leg.